Good morning, everybody. This is Balakrishna. Welcome back to the session. We are into the subject business environment, and we'll be discussing about one of the topics which is called as globalization. What do you mean by globalization? Just treating the world as a single village is called as globalization. No restrictions, anyone can trade anywhere, anyone can sell the products at any place, anyone can purchase and anyone can sell. The trade freedom is given, the exchange of goods is free, and there is no restrictions, no government interventions, etc. It clearly says that the world is treated as a global village. In this video, I will clearly explain you what are the benefits of globalization, what are the advantages of globalization, what are the disadvantages of globalization, what are the challenges of globalization, what are the risks of globalization. Along with this, I also want to share what is the examples of globalization. Yes, to be frank enough, globalization means the world is treated as a single village and the goods and services are transacted from one place to the other with limited or no restrictions or no sanctions and other things. Now I'll just share your screen so that you can clearly understand what the meaning of globalization are and what are all the other topics also. Yes, what is globalization? The world is treated as a single village. No restrictions is imposed. Any person from any country can come forward and explore themselves and trade themselves to the other countries. Just as we export to the next village, we can export the goods from our country to the rest of the globe at any time, at any point of time by meeting only the minimal requirements. What are the advantages of globalization? If there is a global trade, what will happen? The ultimate thing that happens is sales will increase. If the sales of the company is increased, what will happen? Automatically the profitability will increase. If the profits are increased, what will happen? Automatically the growth or economy will progress. The national income will increase and other things. So first and the foremost advantage is economical growth can be achieved. Second advantage is globalized. In the past, if I wanted to export to other country, it is a rare transaction and it involves huge amount of cost. But nowadays, I can export my goods from India to rest of the globe whatsoever it is concerned. So it makes the goods and services more affordable at low cost and at low prices. Another thing is because there are certain countries which are rich in such certain resources and there are certain countries which are scarce in such resources. For example, oil, petrol and other products are very cheap in Saudi Arabia and other countries. They can simply export the goods to India, which has huge oil deficits. That's the reason this decreases the prices and make the prices more affordable, more low priced, and more textured. Third advantage is it brings about cultural match in the sense if any organization can be treated as a global organization. In this case, if in the case of global organization, what happens is there will be people from different cultures, different nations, etc. living in India. So living in that company. And so if there is a good coordination between number of people working there, automatically what happens? The cooperation and coordination will lead to the ultimate profitability to the company. The next one is it brings the opportunities to the poorer countries. In the sense, it brings opportunity. For example, in the last question we have said, Saudi Arabia has rich oil resources. So it brings the opportunity of it increases the opportunity of Saudi Arabia to export those products. India is rich in rice. It exports the goods to the other desert areas. In this way, there will be an exchange of resources between rich countries as well as poor countries as well. What are the disadvantages of globalization? First one, unequal economic growth. If I have more resources, my exports will be more. If the country has less resources, then the country's profitability, sales, etc. will be low. So the which countries can go better? Only those countries which are rich in resources, and the other countries are not rich in resources. Those only can flourish. So there will be an unequal economic growth registered among the countries. Second one, lack of local business. For example, India has deficit in ventilators and other things during the COVID period. So what happened? Many countries which are rich in resources have exported their goods, exported their pharma and other goods to India so that our local players do not suffer much. Next one is potential global recession. Globalization connects all the people together as a single entity. If there is a recession at a single space, this will impact the total economies of the world. If US is in recession, the entire economy of India and other countries also may be downside. In the similar way, third point is increased potential resources we have said now, and and the next point goes to be the labor markets. India is said to be the best labor market in the world. It provides resources at very cheapest and least cost to all the people, to the rest of the globe. Next, job displacement. Here what happens is sometimes because of recession, one country does not give equal opportunities with the rest of the people. Means for the people talented in India can fly away to the other countries if the opportunities are there. What are the drawbacks or risks of globalization? First, there will be an unequal distribution of wealth across the global nations. Developing countries develop much and poor countries become poorer if they are unable to encash their opportunities. Inflation is the biggest issue. In case of inflation, what happens is there is a chance that the prices of goods may increase suddenly. Next, external economic risk. For example, if the country, there are many businesses in India and many businesses in US, as on date, we can clearly say that in India, because of the lockdown, certain businesses are worst affected, and in US, because of complete vaccination, businesses are normal to the run. So here what happens is some businesses in India are now experiencing an economic shock. Develop threats from global commons. For example, India exports the cars and Japan exports the cars. Which cars do you buy? Which cars do we expect a higher amount of technology? It is observed that, sorry to say that, but it is observed that Japanese are known for their technology. So people are fascinated towards those cars, though they perform or they may not perform, they buy those products. Next, race to the bottom. In the sense, there will be a complete competition in the global markets. There will be competition between two global players, or a global player to the local player, or two local players. This may sometimes bring down the economical status of the countries. Trade imbalances. Sometimes the business will flourish because of sales. Sometimes the business may collapse because of undue understanding of challenges of global economies. Unemployment. Usually people rush towards those economies which have more resources, and thus the poorer countries become poor and poor. Standardization. Standardization in the sense the goods and services which are present are highly standardized. That is, since they are supposed to be traded across the globe, the quality of those products will be good. Dominant global brands. Nowadays, people are not using the local brands. They are not using the domestic brands also, but they want global brands which are present in the market, produced and poured by a number of MNCs. What are the benefits of globalization? First one, we will know about various cultures, people from various regions, people from various castes, people from various backgrounds, people from various classes, etc. So we will be able to digest all the cultures of the foreign players. Next, then the spread of technology and innovation. Usually the technology is poured from developing countries into the underdeveloped and developing countries. Next, there is a high standards of living across the globe because the standards depends upon the purchasing amenities of the people. See, if the people who are having highest amenities will purchase more and less will purchase less. Access to the new markets. In this case, what happens is the domestic consumption has been completely fulfilled. Now, what do? They go for foreign exports. So they will be able to explore those markets where our product necessary is present. Access to the new talent. Whatever may be the place, region, country, nation, whatever it is, if they are talented, they are hired by any business entities. What are the challenges of globalization? I can recruit any person who is present at any nook and corner of the globe. Second one is employee immigration. The employee can freely float from across the globe to India and India to across the globe. Next, incurring tariffs and export fees. The only major obstacle why people hate globalization is, why people hate exporting is, they are afraid of documentation. They are afraid of export fees which are paid to them. Next, payroll and compliance challenges. They are also afraid regarding the legal rules, regulations, norms, political conditions, etc. prevailing there. Foreign worker exploitation. In the sense, the workers may be exploited. That is, for example, there are a number of people moving to various other countries. There, people are paid less, but the value of currency at that place is very more. So what happens? They give less wages to the people from India if they flow to Saudi Arabia or US or any other places. Next one is global expansion difficulties. Global expansion difficulties in the sense, I can clearly say that Indian goods can be exported across the globe and global products can be exported into India, but provided the workers are not exploited. examples of globalization. There are three major examples of globalization. One is intergovernmental organizations. There are many organizations across the globe like IMF, WTO, IBRD, and many other global institutions which fund the exporters, which guide the exporter, which guides the exports, which guides the transfer of goods from one place to the other. Next, intergovernmental treaties. There are certain multilateral and bilateral agreements like NAFTA, CEAD, and other many things, agreements like Asian, SARC, NAFTA, and SAPTA, or many other treaties as we have discussed earlier, which will help the exporter to export the goods. And there is a free trade also between the member countries which are flourishing. Next, third point is multinational corporations. Because of globalization, number of MNCs have started. The people from different countries have started their multinational corporations in India. What is a multinational corporation? Any institution or any institution which trades in more than one country is called as multinational corporation. Okay, thank you for patiently listening. In this class, we have discussed regarding various issues like what are the benefits of globalization, what are the advantages of globalization, what are the disadvantages of globalization, what are the risks and challenges of globalization. Thank you.